The NFL salary cap takes no prisoners, and the Las Vegas Raiders just sent a crystal clear message. Nobody's job is safe anymore. With a massive financial commitment reshaping their flexibility, General Manager John Spytek had to slow things down and rethink the entire strategy. And now the real question is, are the Raiders finally fixing the offensive line, or just adding more competition without a clear solution? What does bringing back a low-key defensive piece say about the team's identity? And most importantly, Maxx Crosby finally broke his silence. But is this real belief in the new direction, or just damage control after all that offseason drama? Buckle up and smash that like button, because this changes more than you think. Everything started on day one of the legal tampering period. The Raiders made aggressive moves early, but then came the reality check. With Maxx Crosby staying and carrying a massive cap hit, the front office had to hit the brakes on bigger splash moves and start thinking smarter. And that's where Spencer Burford comes in. The former San Francisco 49ers guard signed a one-year deal. And let me be very clear, this move just put Caleb Rogers on notice. Rogers showed flashes late last season. 6 straight starts, some real promise. But that season finale against the Chiefs, 2 sacks allowed. That's the kind of performance that opens the door for competition, not security. And Burford, he's not a superstar, but 38 starts in the NFL is no joke. More importantly, he's coming from a system built around outside zone concepts, something the Raiders' new offensive structure is clearly leaning into. So this isn't about replacing Rodgers. This is about pressure. My take, this is exactly what a rebuilding offensive line needs. No free passes. No, he was a draft pick, so he starts. If Rodgers wants that job, he's going to have to earn it every single day in camp. And because it's a one-year deal, the Raiders keep full flexibility moving forward. This is controlled competition. And honestly, it might be the smartest move they've made for the O-line so far. Now, if you thought that was the only under-the-radar move, think again. The Raiders quietly brought back defensive lineman Thomas Booker IV. And this might be one of the most important culture moves of the offseason. Let's rewind for a second. The Raiders traded Jacorian Bennett to the Philadelphia Eagles and got Booker in return. At the time, it didn't move headlines, but now it's looking like a win. Booker stepped into a bigger role in Las Vegas and delivered. 17 games played, 44 tackles, and most importantly, consistency. He became one of the most reliable pieces on that defensive front. Because when you're trying to rebuild identity, you don't just need stars. You need guys who show up every single week. Bringing him back as a restricted free agent wasn't flashy, but it was necessary. And there's an interesting layer here. Spytek has ties to Eagles GM Howie Roseman, one of the sharpest minds in the league. He even admitted he has to be careful when dealing with him. But in this case, the Raiders found real value. Not a robbery, not a blockbuster, just smart roster building. Booker isn't the face of the defense, but he's the type of player every good defense is built on. Now let's talk about the biggest storyline of all, Maxx Crosby. After weeks of silence, after trade rumors, after reports that he wanted out behind the scenes, the face of the franchise finally spoke. There was real tension. That part is undeniable. But now, Crosby is publicly recommitted to the Raiders, and more importantly, he's bought into the new coaching direction. He spoke about his connection with Klint Kubiak, not just football, but real conversations, real trust. And in a league where players go through coach after coach, that matters more than people think. This is already his 6th head coach in 8 seasons. So when he says something feels different, that carries weight. And then there's Rob Leonard. Crosby shut down all the noise. There were whispers that Leonard's promotion to defensive coordinator was influenced by their close relationship. Crosby made it clear, 0 involvement. He believes Leonard earned it, and honestly, that endorsement says a lot. These two grind together. Film room, conversations, daily connection. That chemistry could be huge for this defense moving forward. Now, does this automatically fix everything in the locker room? No, but it's a massive step in the right direction. Because when your best player is aligned with the coaching staff, you eliminate a lot of potential problems before they even start. So let's recap everything. Crosby stays and forces the front office to rethink spending. Burford arrives and turns the offensive line into a real competition. Booker returns and reinforces the team's defensive identity. And the franchise player just gave a public vote of confidence to the new direction. That's not just a series of moves, that's a shift in culture. Now I want to hear from you. If you're the Raiders, what's the next move? Do you invest your first-round pick in protecting the offensive line, or go all in on a quarterback no matter the cost? Drop your take in the comments, hit subscribe, and as always, just win, baby.